Good morning. It's Sunday, 11th of October 2015. This is Sylvia Shivamurthy and you're listening to the paper highlights from today's newspapers on AthavanEnglish.com. The main headline in Sunday Times says, Alleged war crimes, government to defend troops. Ranawaka explains issues to officers. Mangala says pardon after confession to TRC. The government will hire counsel and pay legal costs to military personnel who may face charges of war crimes. The assurance has been given to military officers by Minister Patila Champika Ranawaka. He has been asked by President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to speak to officers and men of the armed forces on the findings in the OISL report. During different meetings, Minister Ranawaka has explained the various recommendations and the government's position vis-a-vis them. The prospects of officers or other ranks in the armed forces facing charges of war crimes appeared minimal in the light of mechanisms the government is putting in place. Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira told the Sunday Times that those facing accusations would be able to make confessions to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Such a case would come up before Compassionate Council of eminent religious leaders who can recommend a pardon, he said. However, he said ideas on how to frame the investigative mechanism even with foreign participation would emerge only after the consultation process with all stakeholders. There's another headline which says Port City, vital report before Thursday. The future of the controversial Colombo Port City project is to be decided on the findings of a fresh environmental impact assessment report due shortly, a senior official said. The EIA report prepared by the Coast Conservation Department is due to be handed over before Thursday to the 10-member committee appointed to review the project, a senior committee member said. The report comes in the wake of a visit by the Chinese government special envoy to Sri Lanka this week. The envoy, Vice Foreign Minister Liu Zhenmin, met President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe among others. Soon after the EIA report is handed over, Finance Ministry and other officials are to closely study the financial aspects of the agreement and the need to extend its term. Their observations will be handed over to the Economic Management Committee chaired by Prime Minister Wickremesinghe before being submitted to the Cabinet. And there's another highlight which says, 4 commissions nominated, approved by President on Tuesday. President Maithripala Sirisena is expected to confirm by Tuesday the nominees to 4 independent commissions, including the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, which is to be headed by retired Supreme Court Justice T.B. Veerasurya. The new CIBOC, which has been widely called for in view of thousands of complaints of large-scale corruption or bribery, will be appointed in the coming days and will have additional powers to investigate allegations of bribery and corruption of its own accord and institute prosecutions for offences under the relevant law. The additional powers have been vested in CIABOC in terms of 19th Amendment passed in Parliament in April this year. The newly appointed 10-member Constitutional Council, headed by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, has nominated 24 persons to be appointed to 4 independent commissions, including CIABOC. And now let's see the paper highlights in Sunday Observer. The main headline says, Mystery over Pakistan fighter deal. Mystery shrouds the future replenishments of Sri Lanka's air defense as Air Force officials in Colombo strenuously denied persistent reports that the country is poised to buy more strike aircraft from long-time military supplier Pakistan. SLAF Commander Air Marshal Gagan Bulat Sinhala is due to pay an official visit to Pakistan next week, but when asked, SLAF officials refused to confirm that the SLAF chief would even consider the purchase of the JF-17 Thunder supersonic fighter jet during his visit. Air Force officials, however, acknowledged that the JF-17 would be a good value for money for Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, the global military sales industry buzzed with the news of an imminent Sri Lankan order for the Chinese-designed Pakistan-manufactured high-tech jet fighter. News published in a prominent Pakistan defense website quoting a diplomatic sources reported that SLAF Commander Air Marshal Gagan Bulat Sinhala is likely to further push the deal when he visits Pakistan shortly. The news report also quoted an anonymous diplomatic source as saying negotiations on the number of planes Sri Lanka is interested to purchase and their financial aspects are in the final stages. There's another highlight which says, Saya's father's DNA vital deciding point. Results of the DNA test of Upul Nishantha, father of Seya, the 5-year-old girl raped and killed in Kota Deniyawa, will be released next week. The tests are currently being carried out at the Genetech Institute in Colombo. Head of Molecular Forensics Section, Genetech Dr. Ruan Ilaperuma said the report, once submitted to the Magistrate Court, will be the final and vital deciding point at the High Court later. Dr. Ilaperuma said it was he who called for a DNA sample of the victim's father through the Minuwangoda magistrate. There's another highlight which says, Mali seeks SL advice on VIP security. Following the attempt on President Abdullah Yamin on September 28, Maldives is seeking advice from Sri Lanka on setting up an elite VIP security force similar to Sri Lanka's Presidential Security Division to provide security to the head of the state and other VIPs. Let's now look at the paper highlights in Ceylon today. The top headline says, Police rush TNA MPs to safety. TNA pro-LTTE clash at Paris meet. Chaos prevailed in La Chapelle, Paris on Friday around 4 p.m. when several members of the Tamil National Alliance came under strong verbal attack by a number of irate Tamil diaspora members. Mostly LTTE sympathizers, and the French police had to be called in to rescue the MPs who used tear gas to disperse the crowd. And there's another highlight in top right corner which says, Ceylon today discovers Kadavuna Poranduwa original script. The headline at the bottom says, Will the dragon like cherry blossoms here? We brought you the paper highlights in today's newspapers and we'll be bringing back more tomorrow. Thank you.